Abshire to give us a prayer.
Our God and Father, as we come before you, we come first with grateful hearts for all your many blessings and for every good and perfect gift. Our hearts have been saddened this day, Lord, by the event in our nation, and we pray your blessing and your presence and your spirit with those that have been affected by this, and we pray that you would bring healing there and in our nation. We pray as we deliberate here in the special meeting that the things that are said and done will be pleasing to you. It's in the name of Jesus that we ask. Amen.
Thank you. Roll call, Mr. Kirby.
Councilman Hendricks.
Here.
Councilman Matthews.
Here.
Councilman Branham.
Here.
Councilwoman Abshire.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh.
Here.
Mayor DeGueris.
Here.
7 present.
Thank you. Disclosure of interest. Any member of the City Council may disclose any possible conflict of interest dealing with either any item on the printed agenda or with any matter discussed at a previous meeting. Seeing none, each person in the audience may take this opportunity to address the City Council on any matter which is not on the printed agenda. Again, seeing none, items for action at special meeting. Item A, in accordance with section 110.040 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, entitled Compensation for Councilmen, the city manager will present to each council person their salary for services to the City of Poplar Bluff for fiscal year 2012-2013.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, some plaques to hand out. Just want to briefly say, I appreciate this council every year. It's the city manager's duty to provide you all compensation in the amount of $1 per year. It always amazes me when I do that we get the quality of candidates and also council people to run for that office. There's not a lot of pats on the back involved with it, and it's strictly people that want to serve their community and their citizenry. And I for one, just want to say thank you to all of you all. I appreciate it. I won't go by seniority because I'll get it messed up, but the first one is to our third ward councilwoman, Betty Abshire. City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri presents to Betty Abshire this $1 compensation, appreciation, and gratitude for outstanding service to the community as councilwoman for the third ward 2012-2013, presented this 15th day of April 2013.
Thank you,
You're
Doug.
going to have $25, and that is $24 worth that she is.
She's working on
This one's to our
24.
retiring councilman, Ronnie Hendricks. City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, presented to Ronnie Hendricks $1 compensation, appreciation, gratitude for outstanding service to the community as city councilman for the first ward, 2012-2013. Ronnie, thank you. Appreciate working with you. Appreciate all you've done.
Great. Thank you, sir.
This one's to Councilman Branham. I will. City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri presents to Johnny Branham this $1 compensation and appreciation and gratitude for outstanding service to the community as city councilman for the 4th Ward, 2012-2013.
Thank you, sir.
First dollar this round, but you've got 3 more, don't you?
A couple more.
Robert? Again, it's redundant, but I like to read them. The City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri presents to Robert L. Smith this $1 compensation and appreciation and gratitude for outstanding service to the community as city councilman for the 5th Ward, 2012-2013. I appreciate it, Robert. Thank you. Councilman Matthews. This is about $13. $13 for you, didn't it? 12. Okay. The City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri presents Lloyd Matthews as $1 compensation and appreciation and gratitude for outstanding service to the community as City Councilman at Large for the year 2012-2013. Thank you. This one goes to our other at-large councilperson. The City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri presents to Susan McVeigh this $1 compensation, appreciation, and gratitude for outstanding service to the community as councilwoman at large for 2012-2013. I appreciate it, Susan.
Thank you very much.
This one goes to the second ward candidate, our second ward councilperson. The City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri presents to Ed DeGarris this $1 compensation, appreciation, and gratitude for outstanding service to the community as City Councilman for the second ward. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
You get two.
Me too.
This is for Mayor Pro Tem, presented to Susan McVeigh in recognition of outstanding service and leadership to the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri as Mayor Pro Tem for the year 2012-2013. Susan is also president of MML this year, so her plate is very full this year.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And the big one goes to the mayor. Nice plaque, too. There it is. Presented to Ed DeGarris in recognition of outstanding service and leadership to the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri as mayor for the year 2012-2013, presented this 15th day of April 2013. And I can tell you, Ed has done an outstanding job as mayor. I don't think there has been a meeting that you have missed, even when you haven't been invited sometimes. But I mean, he's at everything. He's easy to get a hold of for things, and so we appreciate your work.
Thank you.
Mr. Bagby, in case some folks in the audience might not know what MML means, which MML is the Missouri Municipal League, which I don't know how many cities in the state belong to it. But
671.
How many?
671.
671.
Three
He
point-
was elected this year as president of that organization. I think, which is quite an honor. She's the first person from this part of the state to ever be president of the Missouri Municipal League. So I think we need to give her a hand down.
Thank you. We represent 3.9 million citizens in Missouri.
Pretty amazing.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to item B, the city clerk will present to the city council for their approval of the abstract of votes cast at the municipal elections held Tuesday, April 2nd, 2013.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Each council person received a copy of the certified results from the county clerk's office. First Ward, Ronnie Hendricks received 49 votes, and Angela Pearson received 164. So Angela Pearson won that race. And then Third Ward, Betty Abshire received 72 votes and was unopposed. So Ms. Abshire won that ward. We just need a motion and a second to approve it.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A retiring city councilman from the First Ward, Ronnie Hendricks, will address the city council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, let me say it's been a pleasure and an experience to work with the City of Poplar Bluff, this council, for the last 3 years. I've enjoyed it, and it's been a lot of fun. Next, Angela run an excellent campaign. That's where I got beat. She knew a lot of people. But anyway, congratulations to her, and I wish you the best in the next 3 years. It's kind of ironic, really, you know, the things that have been completed in the south end of Poplar Bluff I'm pretty proud of, and I'd like to just mention them. First of all, we've got the industrial bypass from Highway 142, I believe, to 67. That's complete. We have the flea market at 142 and 53. That's complete and done. We have the laundromat on Ditch Road. That's complete. 303 Liquor has moved its business down to Highway 53 and Fair Street. We also got taken care of the main ditch cleaned out, and the water flow there is running excellent. Also, the Rednecks racks and reels is completed. We have all the depleted structure that was at the sale barn has been removed. Those are completed projects. Projects are still in the works. We have Sutton Sales and Fish and Chips. It's building the property there on the property at 142 and 53 also. Also, the gymnastics building, I believe, will be a great enhancement to the south end. It's going to be building on Cheshire Boulevard. Shelby Road, I believe, Phase 2 is approved and done, and will go all the way to Highway 53, which should help and enhance the businesses on the south end. Also, the good news is that the Chuck Wagon has been bought out by a new owner, and they are planning on putting in a restaurant and a retail store there where the Chuck Wagon store is on Highway 53. So last but not least, I'd like to say thanks to Doug, to Pam, to Wally, and let me just say once again, shoot me. But you guys are the best, I feel, in the whole state of Missouri, and you do a fantastic job. And I'm going to miss this, but we are blessed to live in the city of Poplar Bluff, and I thank the city very, very much. Thank you.
Now retiring City Councilwoman from the 3rd Ward, Betty Absher, will address the City Council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This past term has been very busy, especially this last year. We have worked through some very important and hard decisions, and some of the most important and hard decisions since my tenure on this city council. But these decisions that we have made, we as a council sincerely feel are in the best interest of our citizens and our city and our community. It's been a pleasure working with Mr. Bagby, whom I remember when he was born, and when he hit home runs over the fence at Leak Park. But it's been a pleasure working with this council, our employees, and other entities in our community. And Ronnie, I wish you and Bunny well, and look forward to getting acquainted with Angela and her family, and to beginning this new term of service to Ward 3 in our city. Thank you.
Now retiring Mayor Ed Garris will address the City Council. I'd like to thank you for entrusting me with the honor of being the mayor this past year. I'd like to thank all the fellow council members for their dedication and hard work in working as a team to do what is best for the city of Poplar Bluff. We've seen several projects. The hospital opened as promised, start of the year. We've got a new pharmacy going in, CVS Pharmacy. Menards is still coming. And with CVS Pharmacy, there were a couple small businesses that were going to, I'd like to thank Mr. McVeigh for stepping up and building some new buildings to keep those small business owners in business. He had to do it rapidly to keep everything going and on course. I guess the biggest thing I'd like to say is God has truly blessed us with people in our area. We have the type of people that makes this a wonderful place to live and raise a family. And these people, the businessmen along 67 Highway and the business leaders around town and a lot of the citizens got together and they talked with the business owners, property owners, and they passed the transportation district tax. And everything that came out of their mouth was for the betterment of the community, to see it continue to prosper long into the future. Not just this year, but in the time for our children and our grandchildren to enjoy the benefits from it. The chamber is constantly working with the board on that, on different things to enhance the community and all the small businesses. The Poplar Bluff Industries got a lot of volunteers on that. We've just got so many people on our city boards that do a lot of work for us that we're just blessed by God with all these people that like to see the community grow and do the best thing for the community. The city of Poplar Bluff is blessed by being able to employ several of these people that I've talked about. And at this time, I felt have the time to honor 3 of our city employees. If I could get Lori Phelps, Nevada Young, and Pam Kirby down to the podium. We have a plaque for you 3 ladies. They have such a compassion, not only for their work that shows every day, but for the city of Poplar Bluff and to all the citizens that they meet on a daily basis. We just hear great praises. As I get the plaques and head out on that way, before I present them, I think there's some other members of the council that would like to make some comments about these 3 ladies.
Yes, Mayor, I would like to say my thank you to these ladies, that you all make us look good. I tell you, if we need something that's out of order, you can get it back in order. If we forget something, you're right there for us, and you do not know how much I personally appreciate you, but this council appreciates you all for your hard work.
Yeah, I would echo the same thing and say, all of you in the audience, that if you've ever had a job where you had to deal with the public, and a lot of them come in upset, they don't like what's happened, and these are the first ladies they see when they walk into our office.
They see smiles.
And they smile and handle things with dignity. I've worked with 2 of them for 12 years, and Lori, we've worked 5 years together. And in my career, I've worked with lots of folks that had to meet the public, and none have ever been, I don't think, as good as these ladies, because they do it every day. And so I just personally thank you for a job well done, and I know you will keep up the good work and keep the city going, because these ladies are 3 of them that keep us all going. So thanks again, ladies.
Well, Mr. Mayor, they've kept me, excuse me, go ahead, Councilman. They've kept me going longer than anyone else up here, and I do appreciate all their support through the years, and they've always been there and been helpful, and we do appreciate them very much. Thank you.
Yes, I also think that they've done a wonderful job. Had it not been for those ladies, I could not have done this job. And I still can't do it very well. But once again, I would like to say thank you to all 3 of you. You are wonderful people. Thanks a lot.
Anyone else?
That's the first one. It says, appreciation to Lori Phelps for your dedicated and outstanding service to the members of the Poplar Bluff City Council and the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, April 15, 2013. And appreciation to Nevada Young for your dedicated and outstanding service to the members of the Poplar Bluff City Council and the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, April 15, 2013. And in appreciation to Pam Kirby for your dedicated and outstanding service to the members of the Poplar Bluff City Council and the City of Poplar Bluff, April 15, 2013.
And a round of applause for our mayor.
Okay, moving on. Item F, the city clerk will swear in the newly elected city council members.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I can have Councilwoman Abshir and Angela come up front, and Councilman Hendricks, at this time, we'll have you take a seat in the audience. Can you stand right here? Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Betty Abshin,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and that of the state of Missouri
and that of the state of Missouri
and of the ordinances of the city of Poplar Bluff,
and of the ordinances of the city of Poplar Bluff,
and that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of councilperson
the duties of councilperson
of said city to the best of my ability.
of said city to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. It needs to be put out.
We need to change it. Her nameplate.
Her nameplate.
Reach out and change your nameplate, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Welcome, Ms. Pearson.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, item G, the new city council will conduct an election for the purpose of electing a mayor and a mayor pro tem for the year 2013, 2014.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, the chair will receive nominations for the office of mayor for the city of Poplar Bluff for the year 2013, 2014.
I'd like to nominate Mayor Ed DeGaris, please.
Ms. Kirby, tonight the Poplar Bluff City Council has made history, having sworn in the youngest
I need
woman.
a second on that, don't
I think so.
I? Hold on just a second. Okay, and do I have a second on that motion? For Mayor Ed DeGaris as, I'm sorry, for Ed
For
DeGaris
Ed
as
DeGar-
mayor. Yes.
My mistake.
I'll second it.
Is there any other
Ms.
nominations?
Kirby, I have a nomination.
Okay,
The Poplar Bluff Council has made history tonight by swearing in the youngest woman ever elected to the city of Poplar Bluff. And for the first time, we have 3 women on the council, which makes me proud. And tonight, we also have the opportunity to reach another milestone to show the community and the businesses looking to possibly expand into Poplar Bluff that we are the culturally diverse and progressive city that we portray. With that said, I nominate 4-term Councilman Robert Smith to be the first African-American mayor for the city of Poplar Bluff.
I'll second that.
are there any other nominations? Okay, at this time, nominations have ceased. We'll do a roll call vote on Ed DeGaris first, since he was nominated first. Councilwoman Pearson for Ed DeGaris as mayor.
No.
Johnny Branham.
No.
Councilman Smith.
No.
Councilman Matthews.
Yes.
Councilwoman Abshir.
Yes.
Councilwoman McVeigh.
Yes.
And Councilman DeGaris.
Yes.
Okay, that's 4 yes votes, so there's no need to do the roll call on the next one. So Ed DeGaris is mayor. Okay, and at this time, we'll receive nominations for the office of, I'm sorry, I need to do, for the office of Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Poplar Bluff for 2013, 2014. Do I hear any nominations?
I nominate Susan McVeigh for Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? As many are in favor of this, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Susan Williams, or excuse me, Susan McVeigh is Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you.
Need a motion to adjourn this special meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. call the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Poplar Bluff to order. Please rise for invocation by Reverend Brian Sharp of the Grace Christian Fellowship Church.
Thank you. It's an honor. Let us pray. Father God, we thank you so much for this opportunity, Lord, we have to serve our city and our community, Lord. It is indeed an honor to represent others in doing the best job that we can, Lord, to bless the people. And Father, our world seems like it's just so many things going on. It seems like it's spinning out of control. But Father, nothing is out of your control. You have everything perfectly in control. And Father, if we would keep our eyes upon you, we know that we will not only just survive, but we will thrive, Lord, in this day and in this time. I ask for a special wisdom upon all the council members, Lord, as they perform their duties to the best of their ability, Father. Infuse them with a wisdom that is beyond their own, beyond human wisdom, and help them to make those choices and decisions that would be pleasing to you and be good for our community. We thank you for Poplar Bluff and Butler County. We ask your blessing, continued blessing upon us, Father, that we may honor you with every thought and intent of our heart and every action of our bodies. And we thank and ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Sharp. Roll call, Mrs. Kirby.
Councilwoman Pearson,
Here.
Councilman Matthews,
Here.
Councilman Branham,
Here.
Councilwoman Abshir,
Here.
Councilman Smith,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh,
Here.
and Mayor DeGaris.
Here.
7 present.
Thank you. Disclosure of interest. Any member of the City Council may disclose any possible conflict of interest dealing with either any item on the printed agenda or with any matter discussed at a previous meeting. Seeing none, each person in the audience may take this opportunity to address the City Council on any matter which is not on the printed agenda. Okay, the next item
Me too.
is a proclamation and awards to one of our officers who happens to be out of town, so I guess we'll just pass that one up. The next item is the consent agenda. Does any member of the council have anything they'd like to discuss separately that's on the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as a single action.
Second.
Motion second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, workshop required items. The City Council review requests for qualifications from asbestos removal inspectors for the flood buyout property.
This is Corey here. I could tell that wasn't Corey.
Yes. Phil Donnell.
Yeah, just,
I believe they are going to be doing it all at one time, the asbestos all at one time. Once the asbestos, if there is asbestos in any of the, I believe there's 4 properties, they'll remove that before the demolition.
federal requirement.
Yeah.
We have to do it, one of the procedures to do the flood buyout.
Did I imagine it, or did I see somewhere where we got a grant to help do that?
The flood buyout is
It's
the
a grant.
and it's once you, anytime you demolish something, then they require that it's inspected for asbestos.
Yeah, I knew it had to be inspected, and I thought it was tied to the grant in some way.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all together.
Okay, now, I think there's some rating sheets that were in our packet. Do we need to approve one of those, or some mystery?
If you don't have any questions for me, I don't have any comments, but I'm the one that did the ratings on them,
Yes.
so. There were 4 companies that submitted
What is your recommendation?
the lowest bid,
Which was
$600.
Smith and Company?
It was Smith and Company. The next highest one, I believe, was $10.45 or $10.50. Substantial difference.
Yes.
The other ones were pretty much in line, you know, increasing, but that was a substantial difference between that and the next lowest one.
Do we need motion?
Yes, I'll
Move
entertain
it
a
to the
motion.
voting session. So moved.
The voting session will be May the 6th.
Second.
Motion second to move that to voting session with accepting the low bid for Smith and Company. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, the City Council review a recommendation from the Municipal Utilities Advisory Board regarding the vacation of an easement.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is at the proposed CVS site. It's an easement that was actually signed just to the east of the existing Lester Street sub. We have no facilities in the easement, and so the advisory board met earlier, and we would recommend vacating this easement. Any questions?
It's not a very large piece of ground either.
It was 2 feet by 6 feet. It was a down guy easement. So,
It just cleans that up. We'll never have anything else
Yeah.
for use with that.
It was neat seeing the names on there, Mr. Seifert and Lewis. I make a motion for item B to be moved to the voting session to be held on May the 6th.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, the City Council will review a recommendation from the Municipal Utilities Advisory Board to award a bid for the Rice NASAP compliance project at the generating plant.
yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, RICE NESHAP stands for Rotating Internal Combustion Engine National Emission Standards Hazardous Air Patrol, or hazardous air pollutants.
You're going to tell Dave again.
Compliments of EPA, and I did not read that off anything. We've been working on this for a few years. I've also got with me Neil Williams, who's our electrical engineer at Municipal Utilities. I believe we've got Kevin Lidberry, Misty Bertelli from Fairbanks Morris, and also Randy Olson with Universal Silencer for probably any technical questions. What we did about 2 years ago, we started looking at this. EPA came out saying that they were going to enact this. We started looking at what it was going to take to bring the peaking plant into compliance with the EPA standard. Carol Foster, who's our plant superintendent, actually went to some of the other sites to see what the other cities had did with their peaking plant and what we liked out of that. From that, we built a bid spec for our peaking plant. And one of the issues is that we wanted the catalyst that you have to routinely take off out of the exhaust flume stack at ground level, if we put that in our bid. When we went out for bid, we had 3 respondents. No one met all of the requirements in the bid. Correct me if I'm wrong, Neil, then we sent out another set of questionnaires for clarification.
That's for clarification from all bidders.
Yes. Bidders responded with that, and then we evaluated the bid. Carol Foster, plant superintendent, myself, and Neil Williams went through the bid and evaluated the bids based on that. The lowest bid we kicked out because it did not meet our ground access on our catalyst. To us, and talking with the other cities, that's an issue. We didn't want it 10 feet off the ground. We wanted it at ground level. Safety issue. Another issue that was brought up through this was the actual catalyst material. We found out later that the catalyst between the 2 vendors, the one that was preferred was actually 100 cells per inch versus a 200 cells per inch analysis. Earlier, I had brought this up to the advisory board, and the advisory board recommended we go with the bid of Fairbanks Morris. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If not, I think we have people.
I'd like to make a comment about that unit, our peaking power unit that we're going to work on. I'd like for you to explain to the council, and maybe they already know, but that we'll hear it again, and the audience and the folks in the community. We get a lot of our power from Southwestern Power, which is a water-generated power, which is the cleanest power you can get.
That's correct.
Now, what do they require of the city to sell us power?
They require us to have a generator on site as part of the contract.
So if we didn't have this generator, then they would not sell us power. We'd probably have to go to another organization that charges at least that much or more, correct?
Well, I know we'd be in violation of our contract. So possibly so, yes. They are, Southwestern Power Administration is a federal power marketing administration of federal power. WAPA, Southeast, SWPA, there's one in Alaska. I think there's 5 out there. And we are interconnected with Southwestern Power. We also buy power from Grand River Dam Association. That's probably 75% of our power coming in the city comes from GRDA. 20% of our power is coming in from SWPA, and we also have Plum Point, which brings in power today too.
I thought that's important because we got to have that unit to where we don't go over on our peaking, but we've also, the bottom line, we got to have it to buy power from some folks.
We're obligated by our contract with the Federal Power Marketing, SWPA, to have that unit here. Yes. Last year, we actually had an outage. It was not on us, it was on SWPA's transmission line, where we actually ran the unit. I believe it was for 2.5 days. If we wouldn't have had the units available, they would have disconnected us from the grid, and we would have been without power. So,
The entire city would have been without.
that's correct.
System-wide.
That's correct. Citywide.
Thank you for that explanation, Mr. Bach.
Even though the bid is not necessarily the lowest bid, it was still, if I recall, still under 200,000 than what we'd even projected,
That's correct. It beat our what I put in the budget. It did beat our,
which really surprised me, and I thought that was a very good thing.
And there were 3 bidders total. The 2 of them were very close. One of them was 25% less.
that's correct.
And the utility board, you voted unanimously after Mr. Bach talked to us and showed us the figures to approve what we believe and still believe is the best bid.
Well, I think as our past experience that when we have these boards that they put so much time and effort into it, many more hours than we do at this council, that we need to take their advice. And sometimes you just get what you pay for. You don't necessarily want the lowest price. You want the best price for the dollar. And then I'm concerned with the liability. I think that's excellent that you all pointed that out, that you want it at ground level so that they're not 10 foot up in the air trying to work on a generator and fall off. I mean, there's exposure there that we would not have, so.
Correct.
My question was, when you sent out the second letter to the bidders, did they all meet your specifications at that time?
No.
They offered some clarifications and some exceptions.
It's sometimes kind of hard to match apples to apples, but I just was curious if the second round of letters, if they did any better.
Right. There was clarifications from all bidders, and there were some that didn't even respond where we asked, did you read the bid? They said yes. It was important to us, so we had to evaluate what was important to us and still pick the one we think we were getting our best product for the money spent.
And that's amazing coming in under budget, so I commend you. I would make a motion, we move item C to the voting session to be held tonight.
Second.
Motion and a second.
I don't know if we need that, it's already on there.
Oh, discussion?
I think a couple.
The second one, BB.
Yeah, but we're right here.
We have
Yeah.
a couple of gentlemen who would like to speak
Sure.
on this. Just give me your name and address, please, sir.
Okay, my name is Nick Barrick, and I live in Rolla, Missouri.
Thank you.
We have 3. We can share if you want to. Yeah, we can share.
We've got it. We've got it.
Okay, I'm here to talk to you about saving the city of Poplar Bluff $250,000. I'm the owner of CSC Enterprises. We were the second low bidder on the project. We specialize in doing out-of-the-ordinary projects all around Missouri and neighboring states. And personally, I'm an electrical engineer, and I'm also the president of the Board of Advisors for the Raleigh Municipal Utilities. So I am familiar with the industry, very familiar with this industry. We saw this project came out for bid in February. We saw it. We were very interested in it. We've done 31 other generators, the same thing. You have 5. Your generators are a little bit bigger than the ones we've done in the past, done it for the catalytic converters, but it's the same thing. Primarily the project is to take the existing muffler or silencer, as they call it, off its foundation, put a new one on the same foundation, and connect it up to the piping. The new silencer has catalytic converters built into it. I mean, it's a more, I guess, sophisticated machine, but it's just like your car, you know, a catalytic converter on your car compared to just a regular muffler. I sent a technician down here. He looked at the project. He said it's pretty straightforward. Actually, it's easier to do than the other we've done before because the others were in buildings. These are outside where you can use a crane. And so we put together a price and submitted a bid. Now, if you look at the things I handed out under attachment number 1, as was stated here, all the bidders were asked for clarification. So we submitted, if you go to tab 1, the first thing is the request for clarifications that was sent out. If you go to the second page of that tab, you'll see under item 2, it says your list of exceptions. And they asked for what exceptions we had. And we put in there, the only exceptions are some minor things to the monitoring system. It's the monitoring control panel monitors the level of the gases, and it's part of the requirement for EPA, and it records it. It's a minor part of the whole project, but it wasn't exactly as what was specified in this system. We also submitted some drawings. They were typical drawings of what this catalytic converter would look like, and correctly, as stated, it showed the access panel being 10 foot off the ground. But it was a typical drawing. During the submittal process, all this would get flushed out. So if you go, anyway, after we sent this clarification letter, then I got a letter, as you'll see in section 2, that showed the bid tabulations. And if you go to the next page, it shows the 3 bidders, and our bid was $250,000 less than the second low bidder. But then I saw where we weren't selected as the vendor, and I was quite surprised at this because that's a lot of money. $250,000 is a lot of money. If it had been $30,000 or $10,000 and you wanted to use a company that has been here before doing maintenance, okay, fine, but not $250,000. It was just too much money, so I guess that's why I'm here. And I talked to Mr. Bach and I said, well, why did you not select us? And he goes, well, your access panel was 10 foot off the ground and we wanted it at the ground level. And I said, it'll be anywhere you want it. We can put it underneath if you want. I sent you a preliminary drawing. I said no exceptions. I didn't say the access panel had to be 10 foot up. I said no exceptions. And so, that's really a moot point. We're going to put the access panel where you want it. I didn't tell you I was putting it 10 foot up. I did send you a typical drawing, but, there's a whole submittal process you go through in a job like this, and you don't do all the design before you get the job. You save some of the engineering for after the fact.
Question.
Yeah.
Our utilities people said they didn't want it 10 feet off the ground.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
But when you submitted your bid, you showed it in a drawing 10 feet off the ground. Is that correct?
It is, but the drawing said preliminary. It said typical. And so now this is before you guys have voted on anything, obviously, because you still haven't voted on it. And so I told Mr. Bach, I said, that's, you're incorrect about that. You're thinking that it's going to be 10 foot off the ground. It's going to be at ground level, just like you want. And so I'm thinking that would, now that he knows the true situation, the correct situation, that would change, but it obviously didn't change anything.
Did you send that to him in writing, or was it just verbal?
It was just verbal. But I did send a letter, the same letter that you all got, and it is in writing in that letter that I sent. so I didn't, I guess, submit it, right? So another comment that Mr. Bakken said, well, you've never done anything this large. And I said, well, that's not correct either. We built a 13 megawatt power plant, cogen plant in Ladonia, Missouri. A 13 megawatt plant is a little more than twice the size of any one of your generators. And this is an entire plant. I mean, building, electrical. I mean, it was a bare ground when we started. When we finished, it was generating 13 megawatts of power and sending excess heat over to an ethanol plant next door. So it was a very sophisticated project. We did the entire project for the city of, well, actually it was for MOPEP, which I think you guys are members of MOPEP. So you're drawing energy from that power plant that we built. So it's not a...
We're not MOPEP members.
Pardon me?
We're not MOPEP.
Oh, you're not MOPEP?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
No. You mentioned Plum Point, and then MOPEP gets some of their power from Plum Point too, so.
We have a separate contract with Plum Point.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, we have built entire power plants, so there's no reason to think we couldn't change the muffler on five generators. So the logic that we have no experience with this size of equipment is also incorrect. So anyway, it's tab 3 of your packet that I gave you is some of our references. I just went back 10 years, and you can look and see we've done, and this was submitted with our bid. This is no new information. We've done a lot of varied projects from $50,000 to $4.5 million. So, and the first, on page 1 is the 2 projects with the catalytic converters. There were 17 at one city and 14 in another city. If you go to page, you turn to year 2000, 2009, I think it is. Anyway, in the list is the project we did at Ladonia, where we replaced the system. So, and there's references there to the people that we worked for there. That you got references for the 2 catalytic converter projects. So, from our standpoint, and I think from the public standpoint, there would be no reason whatsoever to disqualify our bid. I mean, it's a reasonably priced bid. It's a very good priced bid. It satisfies what the city wants. And I don't know if you all know, you were explained about the EPA, and this is a new requirement, but you're not getting any new revenue. I mean, you've got to do this to keep the same revenue you've always gotten. So it's not like, hey, let's invest $700,000, we're going to get $500,000 a year new money. I mean, that's not.
We're fully aware of that.
Yeah, so it's a bad deal, but it's something.
It's a bad deal, yeah.
Everybody.
But having electricity is a good deal.
Yeah, but since you get the capacity credits, you got to do it.
When you opened your statement, you said you had not taken on a project of this size, and then now you're contradicting that, saying you have.
No, we have not replaced
confused.
catalytic converters
Uh-huh.
on generators that were 6 megawatt. The catalytic converter projects that we've done were all 2 megawatt generators. There was 31 of them.
Uh-huh.
So there's a total megawatts of 62 megawatts. I think your plant is 30 megawatts. So if you combine them, we've done more than what your plant is. But we've worked on generators that are twice as big as yours.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify, because
Yeah.
your opening statement contradicted your closing.
Okay, we've worked on generators and built an entire power plant twice as big as any one of your generators.
Okay, thank you.
Question.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not an engineer, but I know a little bit about catalytic converters.
Yeah.
And the catalytic converter that you proposed to put in there was a smaller catalytic converter than the other bid that we received. And something about the size of where the exhaust comes out of them and the weight factor of them. So could you talk about that a little bit?
Well, the specification was a requirement-based specification. It said, okay, it's got to do this. It's got to meet the Rice-Nishap requirements. It's got to have very little back pressure, and there was a definition of how much back pressure.
And that back pressure is a result of the size of the holes that the exhaust would go out of. Is that correct?
Well, it's a combination of things. I mean, the design of the silencer, the length. I mean, there's a lot of factors to it. And I can't say I've never designed one, that's up to the manufacturer to design one, but their design will meet the specification that was written. I mean, there was no question about that. And it didn't say, there's nothing in specs that it's got to have little holes or big holes or so many holes. I mean, it just said it's got to meet this criteria, and it does meet that criteria. Any other questions? So, $250,000 is a lot of money, you know, and I can see no reason. I mean, there is really no valid reason not to accept our bid.
I do have a question.
Yep.
So you're saying that you are going to be able to meet all the expectations that Mr. Bach just laid out before us?
Yeah. I mean, he had
Even at
mentioned
that
about
price?
He had mentioned about the number of cells in the catalytic converter, and I can't really address that or why he would want a different number of cells. And I don't know that we can't match the number of cells that he asked for. I mean, it was never brought up before. And so, you know, we designed a system that met the specs at the best price. And even in the specs, it talks about, you know, we want the best price. And so that's what we did. And so if Mr. Bach wants something different, you know, we could propose something different, you know, tell us what you want, but we met the spec that he's asked for.
One thing about the converters, from what I saw, one of them, or something, the weight was a lot more on the bid that we looked at than it was on your bid.
Yeah, he mentioned that too. Yeah, and he'd asked me what size the metal was, and I don't know what size the metal is on Fairbanks Morse's. But again, the specification said, you know, we want a product that meets the spec, quality product that meets the spec at the best price. If you want a heavier silencer, we can surely provide that, you know, but there's no statement of how heavy you wanted it.
With the changes, would that be change orders, or that would be in the bid specs that you've got, the price that you have with these changes being there, would that be a change order of some kind?
Well, the location of the access hole no, there's no change. I mean, we didn't submit any exceptions to anything except the minor exceptions on the monitor panel.
Okay.
Now, if you wanted twice the thickness on the metal, you know, a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch or whatever it was, yes, that would be, we would have to submit a proposal to increase the size of the metal, but, and that would be a change because the specification didn't call for any size.
The longevity of the heavier unit should be much greater than the smaller unit, correct?
I would say.
I'm not an engineer.
Yeah, I would say that's correct. You know, and you could go stainless steel too. I mean, we've bid some that were stainless steel, which would be even longer yet. But that wasn't in the design. You know, we provided the best price for the specifications that were written. Anything else?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Would Mr. Bach like to address any of that, or Fairbanks Morse, before we vote? We
Yes,
depend
Mr.
on you
Mayor.
all.
So, as part of the bid process, you have to evaluate the bids that you receive. I think Nicholas was incorrect. The drawing that he submitted says preliminary, not typical. We took that to mean, since they were at the site, they drew it up, they asked the silencer manufacturer to come up with a proposal. He did. It specifically says on there, Poplar Bluff engines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how the 10 feet got in there. He's saying now that I can change it, I can give you whatever you want, but the drawing says we're putting it 10 feet off the ground, and now he's wanting to change it. And as you get a bid, we base our evaluation on the information we receive. I looked back through the bid, there was a handful of items. Conformance with the specs was an item, the schedule, the price, experience with similar scopes of work, ease of working together. And then we talk about receiving and evaluating the bids, and the owner reserves the right to place an award with the contractor that is deemed to be in the best interest of the owner.
Mr. Matthews asked a question that really was a good question. The thickness of the metal.
That would be best served by a silence manufacturer who's
Thank you.
back there.
That's just, I thought that was a very good question that would
I
say
believe
about
we
it.
also, I do have a letter that discusses the catalyst material. Get that?
Mr. Matthews serves on the municipal board, for those who don't know, so he's been a part of this from the beginning.
Thank you.
We can share. Either one. Perfect.
We received this, it was addressed to Misty Vertelli with Fairbanks Morris, she's also on the back. In there, the question was asked about the cell density, 100 cells per inch versus 200 cells per inch. And you can see the 3 bullet items here, comparing the 100 cells to a 200 cell design. It's not apples and apples, it's apples and oranges. Again, that was part of our bid process. Randy Olson, who is with Universal Silencer, I think he can address the issue of the metal.
Metal.
Would sir just give us your name and address, please?
You bet. Randy Olson, and I am at 820 Pleasant View Drive, Stoughton, Wisconsin. And it was a long drive down here today. Thank you, Kevin.
And the weather's a lot warmer down here, too.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, it is. And thank you for taking the time to listen to the merits of the proposals here tonight. I know these are difficult decisions to make, and it's a lot of money at stake, so we certainly appreciate that. I want to talk briefly about the weight question that came up. There are several reasons for weights being what they are. Structural integrity being the first and foremost. You have very large, medium and low speed diesel engines on your site. It's very different than a 2 meg machine that's running at a higher RPM. What you have here is large pulsations of both air volume and acoustic energy that need to be treated by the silencer that you put in place. The size of that equipment and the mass of that equipment are critical to the success of both of those things. A light gauge material will pulsate and vibrate and radiate noise and be a structural challenge that you don't want to deal with. I asked myself in the back of the room, would I make my unit lighter? Absolutely not. I would not do that. I wouldn't risk the performance of the equipment. As we talk about cell density and performance of catalyst media, there are 2 critical things that you have to have, and that is your performance of the catalyst to make sure it gives you the appropriate CO reduction, and there's a precious metal content applied to the substrate before it goes in. The 100 cell density material has to have more precious metal on it because you're more open and it is more costly. There's no doubt about it over a 200 cell density material because of the precious coatings that have to go on. I would also not go to a 200 cell density on an engine of this nature. Again, the risks of face plugging, contamination over time are too high. Those are important issues that you want to manage, as well as the pressure loss across the system. Longevity, acoustic performance, and integrity based on the pulsating device of these engines is really just too much of risk from my perspective. So hopefully that answers your questions, and certainly can answer more if you like.
Thank you.
Yep.
My name is Kevin Lidbury. I'm with Fairbanks Morse Engine. We're at 701 White Avenue in Beloit, Wisconsin. We're about 45 miles south of Universal Silencer, which is in Stoughton. We are the, what I would say, we are the sales arm for large engines, medium speed engines for Universal Silencer. To date, we've installed about 81 units. Probably about 10 of them are the size that are comparable to your equipment. One of the things that we found, we originally started quoting some 100 CPSI or 200 CPSI units. When we did our initial testing on a couple units, we were very close to the edge of making it. We've now pretty much on large engines, medium speed engines, offer nothing but the 100 CPSI. So we've provided the city equipment over the years. We did sell the units. It's nice to be back here because I sat in that back row several years ago when we did do the engines. I think we've had a great working relationship with the city of Poplar Bluff, and we'd like that to continue. One of the things that happens with these catalysts, and we're seeing it when we bid, the high bidder was only about $50,000 higher than we were. I bid against him all across the country. I have not ever bid against CSE before, so I don't know their experiences as well. I do know that once you order a catalyst, you get it delivered, and you do your testing, at that point, there's no way to go back. There are places that are buying catalysts today, several in the state of Minnesota, where the catalysts have been delivered, they tested the first unit, it did not meet the test. Now they're sending catalysts back and forth across the country, trying to get things resolved. That's why we work with a company like Universal. Been in the industry for 35 years. 50? I've worked with them for 30. So, always have been a great company to work for and have been well represented. If there was ever a problem, they've always stood behind it. But to date, we have not had any problems with our catalysts. And I compliment Randy and his engineering team because they do use conservative measures and offer equipment that's going to work. So, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may, I'd like to address a couple of things that were said. If you go to the packet that I handed out, the very last page is a reference list from GT Power, the manufacturer of the equipment. And the third city from the bottom is the city of Sullivan, Illinois. And there is, on that page, is 6 generators that they have that have catalytic converter silencers of the same size that we're talking about here. So you could actually go there and see them if you wanted. I think the gentleman there had mentioned they had 8 or 9 that they'd done of this size. So it's, it's really similar to the number that has been done. Also on the difference on the 100 cell or 200 cell, I noticed that letter come from Universal, which I guess one of these gentlemen are from. No one asked me for a comparison. If we were looking for engineering comparisons between the different cells, you would have thought I would have gotten the information. I had no idea what they were proposing. I was not privy to that information, and I could have submitted something. I may have agreed with them, and I may have said, hey, if you want 200 cell, no difference in price. We'll give you whatever you want. The specification was a performance-based specification. And if we install this, they manufacture, we put it in, and for some reason it doesn't meet any of the performance specs, that's not your problem. That's my problem, it's the manufacturer's problem to resolve. You're not buying a piece of equipment that you got to install. It's a package. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to address this? Now we have a motion, and do we have a second?
Yes.
Motion and second to move this to the voting session to be held tonight. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Move on to action required items. Bill number 7591. The city council will take action on an ordinance designating the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church site and structure as the city historic local landmark.
Move for first reading of bill number 7591.
Second.
Motion second for first reading. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7591, an ordinance designating the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church site and structure as a local historic landmark in the city of Poplar Bluff.
Move for second reading, bill number 7591.
Second.
Motion second for second reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7591, an ordinance designating the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church site and structure as a local historic landmark in the city of Poplar Bluff.
Move for adoption of bill number 7591.
Second.
Motion second for adoption. Any comments?
You know, as we said when we put this on to the 2 weeks ago, this is really a neat thing, I think, that we're doing as a city council to designate that church because of its historical for not only folks today, but young people that attend that church. And so it has a designation now. It will be preserved. It won't be torn down in the near future or the future. Someone won't come in. So I think this is really a great thing that we've done for our community there.
It is wonderful, and as you said about young folks, I look out in the audience.
Here they are.
There's a few of them out there now. That is wonderful.
Might add too, the staff report says the Poplar Bluff Planning Department and the Historical Preservation Commission commends the members of Pleasant Hill Baptist Church for their unwavering pride in their building and grounds. They are very community-minded and facilitate the needs of their surrounding area.
Yeah, if you ever have a food thing up there, you need to go because they serve really good food too.
Okay. No other comments? Roll call, Ms. Kirby.
Councilwoman Pearson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Abshir,
Yes.
Councilman Branham,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Matthews,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh.
Yes.
And Mayor DeGaris.
Yes.
7 yes votes.
Thank you. Bill 7591 is adopted. Bill number 7592, the City Council will take action on a resolution awarding a bid on the Rice NASAP compliance project at the generating plant.
Move for first reading of 7592.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7592, an ordinance accepting a bid for catalyst silencer units for the city of Poplar Bluff's generating plant.
Move for second reading, bill number 7592.
Second.
Motion second for second reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7592, an ordinance accepting a bid for catalyst silencer units for the city of Poplar Bluff's generating plant.
Move for adoption of bill number 7592.
Second.
Motion second for adoption. Any comments? Roll call, Ms. Kirby.
Councilwoman Abshir,
Yes.
Councilman Branham,
No.
Councilman Smith,
No.
Councilman Matthews,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pearson,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh.
Yes.
And Mayor DeGaris.
Yes.
We have 4 yes votes.
Thank you. Bill number 7592 is passed. Item CC, the City Council of the City of Poplar Bluff will meet in a closed meeting in which they will discuss such matters which are exempt under the Open Meetings Law, Section 610.021.1, .2, .3, .9, .11, .12, .13, and .14 of the revised statutes of Missouri.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we move into closed session after the city manager's report. A
Second.
short recess.
Motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Bagby?
Just very briefly tonight, we have a public hearing on Shelby Road Phase 2. It will be the 23rd of this month from 4 to 7. It's a drop-in type hearing. We expect that the property owners involved are going to be very interested in it. We'll be talking about right-of-way and exactly what direction that portion between PP Highway and 53 will be headed. public hearing is not really a requirement on this project, but we are doing it very similar to how MoDOT would do their projects, just to make sure everybody has ample input on the project. Also, April 27th, I think, Dennis, is Buff Up the Bluff. So I have cue cards, I didn't realize that. But it is, I think we're already taking calls now, aren't we, on elderly pickups?
No, we're actually going to start taking the money. We've been getting calls, but we're not accepting.
I think the two
Ask the
gals
next
behind
one.
you have been actually accepting calls on it. So that'll be another thing that Dennis has been taking care of for as long as I can remember, and does a great job. We used to have 2 of them a year, which Councilman Matthews and I have talked about. Actually, the fall one was very slim, and we're getting more, so we're really probably getting everything done we were getting done with this spring cleanup. It seems like people in the springtime are getting out and more anxious to get rid of the accumulation that's piled up over
Oh, once again, back to the public hearing, give me a time on that.
4 to 6 p.m.
Do you have a location?
4 to 7 p.m. in the council chambers.
4 to 7?
Yeah, and it's just a drop-in. There will be engineers responsible for it will be here. We'll have drawings of the project and be able to very informally answer any questions that anyone might have on it. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Motion to adjourn to closed session.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Before I drop the gavel, there was someone that I was going to mention earlier that I failed to. I think we owe a great bit of gratitude also to Jim Bailey for everything he's done at Mansion Mall and is doing at the Valley Plaza, even though the city council had absolutely nothing to do with that. It's a good increase for work for our city, and it makes more people want to move here, and we're proud of that.
Yeah, and you know, there's another person I think we have to thank that grew up in this town. Most of you watched him play football and basketball. A fellow by the name of Scott Harrell has really been influential in bringing the business to our community and through Jim Bailey. And you notice the sign down the Valley Plaza, if they want to rent, they can call Scott. So I think that's an asset of one of our youngsters that moved away, but he's still helping his hometown. So I think we can be grateful to Scott for that help.
We'll be adjourned, take about a 10-minute break, come back for our closing.